Hello, Newport News. I'm Desiree Williams, Newport News resident and marathon runner, and I'm thrilled to be here on NNTV for the second annual Newport News One City Marathon. Joining me today is City Manager to the City of Newport News, Jim Borey, and representing our presenting sponsor for the second year in a row, Newport News Shipbuilding, is Bill Bell, Vice President of Human Resources and Administration. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Jim, I know this is a big event for the city. Tell us why the Newport News One City Marathon, this year scheduled for March 13th, is such a big event for our city.
Well, you know, Desiree, it was really very, very successful last year. We had such an engagement in this community. The first and foremost reason for doing this was to unite the city, the whole One City Marathon idea, and we did unite the city. During the time that I ran through that course, there were so many folks from all different walks of life, all different nationalities and perspectives that were there cheering, they were running, they were volunteering. That was very important. It was also an opportunity to stress health and wellness for our community. There are people in this community doing things that never envisioned they would do something healthy and exercise. So that has been very, very important as well. It was also a way to showcase what we can do as a city, to showcase it for our area, but also for the country. We had people from 27 different states that were running in the marathon. So all those things were very, very important.
So I know one of the most exciting things about the marathon last year was that it was a Boston qualifier. Is that something we can look forward to again this year?
Oh, you betcha, absolutely. I'm sorry I didn't qualify for Boston. There were a lot of people that did qualify for Boston, though. It's a relatively flat course and good weather. We will have good weather again this year, I promise. And a lot of people qualified.
Awesome. That's certainly big news, both to Newport News and the entire running community. So, Bill, I know this is also a big event for Newport News Shipbuilding. Tell us what your involvement in this event means to you all.
When Jim first approached us about the city wanting to do this marathon, we were really excited about it. And we were excited because it really hits three of our key initiatives. And one is community involvement. We have employees who live all throughout the Hampton Roads region and their families, and it gives them an opportunity to be engaged and both as volunteers and runners. And we also have health and wellness initiatives that are really high on our priority list, and of course giving us an opportunity to talk more about health and wellness and to get people more involved with training is really, really critical. And the third piece is our partnership with the city. We have been partners with the city since both the city and the shipyard's founding, and we have done all kinds of activities, and we still have more partnerships yet to do. This was just one more opportunity.
So health and wellness is a big initiative for Newport News Shipbuilding, and I know there's a big initiative as well in the city of Newport News. Tell us what the city's doing to get the public school system involved.
We have had a very active program with them, and it's really an outreach effort to help them work with their kids, to get them very involved in training programs and actively engaged. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to do the Nautical Mile, to give them that opportunity. There were hundreds of kids that were running that race, and that was really exciting.
Last year's event weekend started off strong with the Health and Wellness Expo. Is that something we can look forward to again this year?
Oh, you bet, we will do that. That's really such an important ingredient for our community. We'll start it at noon on Friday and it'll go on to Saturday as well. It's an opportunity for the community to come together and learn more about health and wellness, learn about good eating, exercise, and so many other things. We have a lot of vendors that'll be there, a lot of people exhibiting, and we'll also know about our charities more through that exhibit. So that's going to be a special thing for us as it was last year.
Good. And it's also a great opportunity to highlight some of our sponsors who will be joining our presenting sponsor, Newport News Shipbuilding. So I know with this you had your employees really involved, and you might have some success stories you want to share with us?
Oh, I'd love to share some of those success stories. We've had volunteers, we've had people who were running the 10K and also in the marathon. There's two stories I'm particularly fond of, and one is one of our engineering managers, a man named Dan Moniak. Well, Dan, it turns out he started running when he was 44 years old. And he made a promise to himself that he would finish a marathon before he was 51. Well, he turned 51 this year, and he also ran in the One City Marathon for the first time this year. He started training in September, and just did a magnificent job, had timed it out so that he would run each mile at 8 minutes and 15 seconds. He actually finished at 3 hours, 23 minutes, and 2 seconds, which qualified him for the Boston Marathon.
Oh my gosh.
And so this year, or next year, he'll be running in the Boston Marathon along with his son. We're so very, very proud of Dan.
Wow, wow. And for those of you who aren't runners at home, a time like that in a marathon is quite spectacular. So at any age, it's certainly achievable.
Well, he was really surprised with himself. Now, the other story is a guy named Carl Killian, who is in our test engineering group. And Carl decided that he needed a lifestyle change. And so what he ended up doing was he signed up initially for the 10K. And as he was running and as he was getting ready, he lost over 150 pounds, and in the process was talked into signing up for the marathon. And he had been practicing really for a 21-miler that he was running a little bit before the One City Marathon. And so he was actually having his time associated with the shorter run. And he was disappointed with his time around a 5-hour finish, but what he said he learned from that is what runners really need to do in order to be competitive. He's signing up again, and he's going to encourage more of his teammates to do it as well.
This has just been such a win-win relationship between both the City of Newport News and Newport News Shipbuilding, and so we can't thank you enough for being a presenting sponsor again this year.
It's our pleasure. Yeah.
I would like to echo those things. I mean, when we looked for a partnership, it was such a natural. The Newport News Shipbuilding and the city have been partners, as Bill mentioned, for more than 100 years. And so it was very natural, and we value that relationship and what you brought to the table for sure.
Well, thank you for thinking of us and allowing us to, again, be the presenting sponsor.
In addition to having Newport News Shipbuilding as our presenting sponsor, Jim, I'm sure there are other sponsors who are making this weekend possible.
There certainly are. They don't have the heavy lift that Newport News Shipbuilding is doing, but very, very important for us as well. Your employer, Riverside Health Systems, is sponsoring our Health and Wellness Expo, a very important component as we talked about. The Daily Press is sponsoring the Nautical Mile, and we've got WM Jordan engaged. We also have Town Bank, which is sponsoring the One City Celebration downtown, which is a Sunday event. So we have a lot of people engaged. We will be announcing other sponsors as well over the next few weeks.
Sounds exciting. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Just want to know if you're going to run the marathon this year.
Well, last year I was at the One City Celebration, which unfortunately made me not able to run the marathon, and also at the finish line. So we'll see. I don't know that I can both run and present awards at the end. I don't think I'll be the fastest runner, so that's to be determined.
We're looking forward to to one more great marathon and all the participation from the families of shipbuilders as well as the sailors who live in Newport News.
Well, this sounds like a great segue to take a minute to recognize our sponsors, take a break, and then show the viewers at home how they can get involved and maybe even register for the event. So again, thank you, Jim, for having the vision, and Bill, again, for supporting this great Newport News event. In our next segment, we've got some great information about the marathon, so we'll be right back with more Newport News One City Marathon Presents Getting Ready. Welcome back to Newport News One City Marathon 2016, Getting Ready. The marathon course is a very special route that runs along 26.2 miles of a city celebrating its neighborhoods, culture, and diversity. Joining me today are two Newport News residents who felt all the excitement firsthand. First, we have Telly Whitfield, assistant to the city manager of the City of Newport News, who participated in the Maritime 8K last year. And then representing the winner of the Town Bank Hometown Spirit Award, Shamika Gerald, principal of Heritage High School. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So Telly, as a participant, you were able to see sort of the front row view of all the excitement. Tell us what you felt running that course.
Well, first I have to say that, we spent so much time preparing for the event and really reaching out to the community that you can envision it, but actually to witness it is a whole different atmosphere. Running the event, obviously I'm not really the traditional runner, so I was really motivated to kind of get out there and try to do my best. But to have the community out there to support the runners, particularly the 8K runners, who a lot of us were new to the sport of running, was really exciting. So it was early in the morning and you had families that were outside of their houses, and then when you went down to Huntington Avenue, you had more of the shipbuilders and even other schools and so forth like that. And when you got to 42nd Street, it was an amazing atmosphere.
So 42nd Street, I think that's where you were, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that was our water station for the One City Marathon, mile 25.5. So it was an exciting spot for us to be in last year.
So tell us a little bit about how you got your students in the school involved.
Well, when One City Marathon came to Heritage High School to talk about how the school could get involved, we immediately took it as an opportunity to show our students different experiences. So not only, a lot of students don't understand what a marathon is, and being a runner and have run a marathon, explaining to them and having them do research, but then getting the staff involved and motivated to get the students out there and give back to the community that has given so much to our school. We had the cheerleading squad who researched cheers that would be appropriate for a marathon. We had our Governor STEM Academy students that partnered with Newport News Shipbuilding to come up with posters that were marathon appropriate, because just go run doesn't mean anything to a runner. And then our ROTC, our band, we had over 250 student representatives out there, starting from 6 o'clock in the morning when the first 8K people came by to when the very last marathoner crossed that 25.5 miles. It was a great experience, and our kids are so excited about the opportunity to participate again this year.
Now in private, you shared some pretty powerful thoughts and pretty powerful experiences about how this has truly transformed your school, and I'm sure the viewers at home would love to hear about that. Could you share?
It has been an amazing experience. I think winning the Hometown Spirit Award in my mind was one thing, but what it did to transform our student body was something totally different. As a new principal in the building, I really wanted to make our mark on the community and make a stamp in Newport News, especially in the Southeast End community that we love so much. And I felt like this was a great way for us to get a foot in the door to give back. But when the students had the opportunity to work with the mentors from Newport News Shipbuilding, or work with the Elizabeth Gates from One City Marathon, and work with their teachers, and actually see some of their teachers out there running, and saw the impact that we had on the community, it really has transformed the culture of our building internally as well, where students are more excited about volunteer experiences and are looking for alternative experiences outside of the regular things that we tell them, go to a nursing home. They are looking at, oh, well, maybe I can go to Doris Miller and read to students, or maybe what are we going to do this year for One City Marathon? Can we do it again, or are they going to ask us to come back? So they really are working hard to change what the public perception of them as young people are.
If I could just respond to the statement that you just made, that was really what we were trying to capture when we thought about the One City Marathon. It wasn't just going to be a runner's event, but it was really going to be more about galvanizing the community and getting people to realize that there's so much that's going on here in the city of Newport News that we can be involved in, and looking at ourselves differently. So that's really wonderful that even within the school, it's kind of a microcosm of what we were trying to accomplish citywide.
So not only has the One City Marathon made impact on people's health and wellness, but truly transformed lives, and it sounds like we've got some true emerging leaders here in our community.
Absolutely.
That's so exciting to hear. So Telly, you saw, as a runner, all the excitement. Can you tell us about what was going on at 42nd Street that made them stand out and win that hometown award for those who are trying to come back and get that title next year?
Right. Well, there's a high bar that was set after this past year. For the runners who were coming down Huntington Avenue, as Ms. Gerald had mentioned, you're pretty tired, particularly for the marathon. You know, that's 25 miles into it. There were churches already throughout the course that had church bells ringing and choirs out and so forth like that. The crescendo of having the band, and you can actually hear them playing from a couple streets out. So people were like, well, what's going on? There seems to be so much excitement. And I know as some of the marathoners were talking about that this was the most support that they've received on a course, particularly that far into a course like that. There literally was the entire band out there playing and marching. The cheerleaders had the water stations out, and they were having cheers going forth. I think it really energized the runners who were going forth. I mean, myself and my wife who were running the 8K, we were energized ourselves. We said we have to pep it up just as we go through with the students that are there showing our support and the high fives that were going out. It was wonderful, and it really gave you that extra energy to move forward to get to that finish line.
Our runners really tapped into a lot of that excitement, and many of them posted some of their favorite memories on our One City Marathon Facebook page. So we'll share a few of those on air. Here's a Facebook post from J.A., who said the community support and volunteer turnout was simply amazing and very motivating. Amy E. remembered the students at CNU making a human tunnel as they cheered the runners. She said she felt like a rock star. Kimberly R.'s favorite memory was running the number streets and seeing the choir singing, bands playing as she counted down, turning the corner to the finish line. Milani B. said she remembers all the signs. Couldn't believe all the great support for the first year. Carl K.'s favorite was the power button. Cassie W. said the One City Marathon supporters were the best. And Thea G. said it was her favorite marathon ever, and so happy it was in her own hometown. So you can tell from those Facebook posts that people really appreciated your support. Did you all feel that?
Yeah, we really felt that level of support. I was secretly stalking Facebook and Instagram and Twitter just to kind of see what the response was. But even when we went down to the award ceremony and were greeted by so many people that were high-fiving the students that I brought with me and saying thank you so much for being there, even with the runners as they passed, some of them stopped because they needed a drink. And we're so thankful for our students being there, giving out the high fives, for cheering them on, for giving them the motivation to keep running. And we were rewarded with the Hometown Spirit Award presented by Town Bank. And we just really appreciate the community recognizing the hard work that our students are doing and allowing their lights to shine out there on the marathon track.
So I'm sure you have something in store this year to kind of top that and defend your title. Can you share with us even just a sneak peek?
Well, the students are very excited. Last year it was more adult driven because the kids really didn't know what they were getting into, and this year it's more student driven. So you can expect more students than we had last year, and their ideas are so big that I don't want to spill the beans on any of them right now, but you can expect it echoing for blocks, and that anticipation and crescendo will be there again this year.
Well, I'm sure you'll have even more competition this year now that they know what to expect, and that Heritage High is truly bringing its A game.
That's right.
Well, Telly, I know also the youth programs in the public school systems have gotten involved. Can you tell us a little bit about the Marathon Mania?
Absolutely. We were very fortunate to partner with our Parks and Recreation programs, their youth programs, which is both before and after school in many of our Newport News schools. And they decided to do something that was really creative. In addition to doing just the fitness running portion of it, they wanted to do a reading and an enrichment portion with their children. So for all the kids that were involved in the before and after school program, they actually signed them up for a 26-week program. And for 25 weeks, they read and they ran, they read and they ran. On the 26th week was the week of the marathon, and they participated in the nautical mile. 350 of them participated in the nautical mile. It was outstanding. It brought together the kids, but also their parents and guardians as well. And they had a wonderful time. We had one of the largest fun runs, I think, in the East Coast is what we've heard.
Wow, that's spectacular. And to merge something as fundamental as reading with
Absolutely.
another essential skill like health and wellness.
Health and wellness.
Powerful things that we're doing here in the city of Newport News, and I'm just honored to be a part of this event. So in addition to Heritage High on 42nd Street, what are some of the other highlights of the course?
Sure. We actually passed by 11 schools along the marathon course. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, Woodside High School was out with their cheerleaders and their pep band, cheering on the participants as they went through between mile 1 and 2. And as we went through, Minchville High School, Denby High School had folks out, as well as Ward. Ward actually had some chalk along Warwick Boulevard, and they had their cheerleaders out as well. But the neighborhoods too, between the Beachmont area, Lucas Creek, and some of the faith community that came out in that area, and then Hilton. From my understanding, Hilton was just packed with participants that came through with the signs and power me up signs and things like that really gave that extra boost to the participants. And even when we went through CNU, there was a tunnel a kind of a human tunnel that people ran through with the students at CNU. So it was really an exciting event. And again, when we planned this and we had several community meetings and talked to Rotary clubs and civic groups, you know, you can envision something, but then to witness it and see it and have folks in the communities doing barbecues. I actually did have the opportunity after the race to kind of go back and circle through to make sure that everything was cleaned and kind of back to normalcy. And there were still barbecues that were going on from earlier in the day. I should have stopped and got a hot dog.
So the party started at 7 and just kept going all day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome to hear. I know as a runner, sometimes just those little power-up signs make a huge difference. And I think we've got a clip of one of those power-up signs that you talked about during that little spiel there. So the support is definitely recognized and appreciated along the route. Thank both of you for being here. And thank you at home for watching, and also, of course, for volunteering for the Newport News One City Marathon. We're going to take a quick break, and we're only just getting started because we're going to be joined with the race director as well as the head of volunteers to tell how you at home can volunteer and help the Newport News One City Marathon 2016. Welcome back to Newport News One City Marathon 2016. Getting ready. Joining me now is Jason Todd, race director from Flat Out Events, and then Jennifer St. Martin, volunteer coordinator. Welcome, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jason, first I have to say congratulations on a spectacular inaugural event.
Thank you.
Tell us, is there something new in store for year 2?
Well, there's new things. We definitely feel like last year was a big success. And really surpassed all expectation, but like any event, you always have things that you can improve. We obviously expect there to be some growth in year 2, and with that, we sold out our marathon and our marathon relay last year, so we're already making plans for having more people and being able to have more participants, so we're working on that now. With the race courses themselves, they will largely stay the same, which I think is a good thing because we had some great race courses. Newport News Engineering did a great job of putting those race courses together, but some minor changes here and there. At the start line, we'll have a little shift of the location from last year, still in Newport News Park, so those that ran the marathon last year, that first mile through the park was great. The fog was there and it was just a great setting. So we won't be losing that, but just a little shift in the location. And then further down the race course, really right at the bridge, at the James River Bridge, which is about 23 miles in, we'll be making an adjustment to run underneath the bridge on Warwick this year versus going across there at the bridge. So those are the two, big changes to the course, but we got all the same events back, the 8K, the relay, which I think we'll see a lot of growth in that. People really enjoyed that last year. And then I don't know, we might have a record number of kids running in the nautical mile this year, so really looking forward to that event as well. One thing that is still the same this year is that all the events have great prices, very reasonable, very low. That's really one of our strategies for this event, was to make it something that everyone could participate in. And right now we're seeing nearly twice as much in participation as we had at this same time last year. So again, we're seeing that growth. To sign up, just go to onecitymarathon.com and click on the register tab, and from there you can choose which race that you want to participate in and sign up soon to save money.
Awesome. Yeah, you've certainly proven yourself worthy of hosting an amazing event, so I'm looking forward to this year's event as well. So with more participants, I would assume that means more volunteers. Jennifer, what did you need volunteers for this year?
Yes, well, last year we had about 800 volunteers, and this year we will need at least that, if not more. And there are so many different opportunities for people to participate if they're not walking or running. Starting with the Health and Wellness Expo, we need a lot of energetic volunteers to distribute shirts, bibs, bags, and to the runners, as well as checking photo IDs. We also have several race information stations. The One City Marathon's motto is, "You've never been welcomed like this before." So we really need friendly and articulate volunteers who can answer questions and provide the best experience possible for anyone needing it. We also have the starting line, which we need help getting volunteers seated into their correct corrals. For those that prefer a more behind-the-scenes take on it, we have the setup and the tear-down crews, and they will be setting up equipment, closing roads, reopening the roads, taking apart the equipment. Because the One City Marathon provides runners an alternative way to experience the marathon by running in teams of 2 or 4, we will also have 3 relay exchange points that we need volunteers for to help make sure everything moves safely and smoothly and effectively. There's also traffic wardens, and these are vital on race day to ensure that cars aren't colliding into race courses where the runners are, just providing overall safety. And we will have 2 shifts for the shuttle attendants. These are key because both runners and spectators will be relying on the shuttle service to get to and from where they need to be. So we want to have a smooth transition for them. We need volunteers for parking lot attendants as well as gear check for the 8K and the marathon, as well as for the One City celebration at the Victory Arch. Lastly, we have water stations. There are 14 of them strategically placed throughout the race course, and I prefer to call them motivation stations. The goal is to provide the runners with water, Gatorade, and energy gel packs in the safest, effective way possible, but while also having a lot of fun. What we would like to have is for a runner to hear the station before they actually see it. Therefore, we need as much energy and motivated and fun volunteers as we can possibly have for these different water stations. And we also encourage community organizations and groups to come down and take over a station if they would like. That way, you know, there's even more energy there. You can have music, themes, costumes, whatever you like, as long as it's safe and effective, we like it.
So Jennifer, can you step me as well as the viewers at home through the process of registering to be a volunteer for the event?
Of course. First you go to onecitymarathon.com, click on volunteer, then click on register, and it will take you right into the portal. From there, you're going to set up a quick profile on the United Way website, and then it'll take you to a page where you can select exactly what position you would like to volunteer for. And if at any time you have any questions, my email address as well as phone number are listed in both the portal as well as the website.
Great. So Jennifer is here to help you help us make this race weekend a success. So Jason, tell us, do you have a story about somebody who volunteered last year who might have something to share about their experience?
Well, we just really got, you know, overwhelmingly positive feedback from the folks that came out and helped us, and I think they got as much out of being a volunteer for the event as they gave to the participants. We've gotten several calls already this year from a lot of those same groups saying, make sure we have our spot, you know, we want our water station back. You know, so all along the course, we're hoping to see a lot of familiar faces, but hopefully, you know, they've shared their experiences with others, and as Jennifer has mentioned, we have plenty of opportunities. So, you know, it's a great way to be involved in the event. You know, you won't be sorry that you took your time to come out.
We've got just a few minutes left. Is there anything else that either of you would like to add?
Well, I'll just add that, you know, Flat Out Events and myself were very happy to be involved in this event again for year 2, and you know, being a Newport News business and this being right here on our home turf, it's just an honor for us to be involved.
I too am very excited about this now being the second year that we're hosting this event in my hometown, and I'm just truly honored to be a part of this race weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. And thank all of you for watching. We hope to see you March 11th through 13th, 2016 for the Newport News One City Marathon as we show the world and celebrate that we are one great city.